Abstraction is a fundamental concept used by all software engineers to manage the complexity of their applications. What abstraction allows us to do is it allows us to focus on the key aspects of information that are required for a given task and a given stakeholder. So the level of abstraction that we use will vary task to task and stakeholder to stakeholder. So if I'm talking about, for instance, the design of my application to a user experience designer, I'm going to be talking about it more from a usability point of view and how you would interact with the application rather than its back-end architecture, right? And that viewpoint will shift. If I'm talking to a quality assurance engineer, I will talk about it in terms of the low-level testable aspects within the system. Right, so the viewpoint is going to change. The level of abstraction will change, again, from stakeholder to stakeholder and task to task. One thing to keep in mind is that there is an inherent cost with abstractions. If we add too many layers of abstraction to our systems, they can be extremely hard to understand. At the same time, though, systems that lack sufficient layers of abstraction can be really hard to understand and evolve. Right, so trying to balance that trade-off between too much abstraction and too little abstraction is really an iterative process that takes time to develop as an engineer or an architect, but it plays a fundamental role in the overall evolvability and understandability of our systems. Let's look at an example of abstraction in practice. Okay, so say our task is to make a course video. All right, so this is a high-level description of a task, right? But what are the individual steps? So what kinds of detail are being abstracted away here? Right? So let's think about what's involved. So the first thing we need to do is we need to choose a topic. And then once we have a topic, we need to develop some material. All right, so once we have a topic and we have some material, we need to go to the studio and record. And I'm sure, as you've noticed, we make mistakes sometimes, so there's a lot of reshoots that are involved, so we have to do those too. And then once we have all of our raw video, we need to do post-production, and then we need to post those videos online. Right, so these are 7 concrete steps that are involved in the process of making a course video. So different stakeholders who are involved in making a course video will care about different subsets of these steps. Right, so as a faculty member, as a prof, I care about steps 1 to 5. Whereas the studio, they care about a different subset. Right? So the studio, they really care about steps 3 to 5. This is where they're involved. And the producers who help with these videos are most involved in steps 3 to 7. Now, as a prof, right, I abstract away steps 6 and 7. To me, these are magic and they get taken care of. And to the studio, they just assume that I come in with some content and someone else takes care of the post-production. And the same thing with the producer. The producer counts on me to get the content ready, but they make sure that I actually shoot it in a way that's usable for you. Right, so to all of us, we look at different subsets of these tasks. We abstract away this process to really focus on the parts that we care about. And that's really what abstraction is all about, right? Finding the viewpoint that makes sense for each individual stakeholder.